think that this is going to be a very interesting conversation because imagine, Isha, whenever, I don't know, have you ever come across a family where there are parents who actually represent different cultures, or probably, a father, a Pakistani woman married a European father, something of that sort, or a European lady marries a Pakistani man. Do you think that, when we speak about their upbringing and cross-cultural upbringing of parents will actually have a very different impact?
It does. I feel like it does. Whether you're a Pakistani or living abroad, when you combine two cultures actually mesh together and are wedded together equally, and some parts of a culture are very dominant while others are not, and which can often lead the children to be slightly confused, maybe trying to identify themselves and fit into each section of society.
Which is why I'm going to ask you this. Okay, so where is your mother from and where's your father from?
All right, so my father is from Pakistan, and
no, Pakistan obviously, but within Pakistan.
Within Pakistan, he was born in Sargodha. However, my mother, she's also Pakistani, but she was born in Libya.
Libya, yes. So, have you ever had that impact on you?
No, because she only lived there for a certain amount of time. However, the only impact is that she loves cheese and tuna, so that's a very prominent part of her diet.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, obviously today we are discussing parenting across cultures. Let's see, what Mr. Taj Adeel has to say, because he happens to be a psychotherapist himself. Hello, Mr. Taj. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can certainly hear you, but you can certainly speak a little louder as well. Looks like a great buffed guy going to the gym every day. Well, that's wonderful. So let's get started. First of all, parenting across cultures. Let's build the foundation and then we'll speak further about it.
Thank you very much. Well, I will try to speak a bit louder. Unfortunately, I'm just hearing the half of what you're saying.
Yeah,
all right, you have the experience of 15 years as a clinical psychotherapist, and you've also written a book called The Legacy Parenting. So please touch some light upon how, when kids are raised between two different cultures, what impact does it have on them?
It's a really good question. It's a great question. When child grow up between two cultures, one at home and one outside, they're constantly switching between two worlds of values, emotions, and expectation. At home, respect might be silence and obedience. Outside, it means speaking up, asking questions, showing confidence. And somewhere between those two definitions, the child begins to wonder, who am I supposed to be? It's not always trauma, but it creates a quiet conflict between belonging and authenticity. Over time, many children develop two versions of themselves, one that pleases their family and one that fits into the society. The real healing happens when parents learn to bridge those worlds, when love and tradition meet empathy and conversation. It's not always about bending your culture, it's about involving it. Because a child who feels safe in both worlds doesn't grow confused, they grow connection. They become the bridge between cultures.
Exactly, which is why I think what we really need to kind of speak about over here is, because I was born in a very Pakistani cultural family, so I got beaten, I got told off, so, and I'm happy about it, there's no trauma attached to it. I got silenced, do you think that when we speak about non-immigrants or immigrants, we do see these differences within the children? And who do you think is doing far better off than anybody else, and why?
A really great point. It really makes you wonder how different culture define discipline and which one actually does it better.
Yes, like, are European standards more better in regards to disciplining kids, or are Pakistani standards up to the par?
Imagine in Europe, you're not allowed to hit your child, you're not supposed to say something, rude, they'll come back, they'll go to their teacher, they'll complain, whatnot. Over here in Pakistan, you are your parents' property. They can do whatever they think is right for you. So they can slap you, they can hit you, they can silence you. They've got every right to do whatever they want to you.
It's a very good question. It's one that comes up quite often when we talk about parents across culture. Discipline is one of the most misunderstood concepts. In many traditional households, it's often mistaken for control. The belief that parents must shape their children through authority, fear, or even physical correction. The intention behind it is love. I want my child to be strong, respectful, and successful, but the method can create distance instead of respect. In Europe, there has been a shift from obedience based to connection based parenting. The focus is no longer on punishing behavior, but understanding it. When a child misbehaves, instead of asking, "How do I make you stop?" parents ask, "What's happened behind this behavior?" That single shift builds empathy, trust, and communication. Meanwhile, in South Asian family, there is a still strong sense of hierarchy. Parents hold the moral and emotional authority. It creates discipline and structure, yes, but sometimes at the cost of emotional expression and confidence. I've seen both sides in my therapy work. The Western model can be too lenient, while the Eastern can be too strict. So the solution isn't to choose one over the other, but to blend the best out of both. Keep our culture respect and structure, but deliver it to empathy, warm, and open conversation. Because in the end, we're not trying to raise a obedient child. We're trying to raise emotionally intelligent adults who can love, think, and take responsibility for their choices.
And Taj, can you please highlight how there's actually now different forms of parenting, whether it be helicopter parenting or gentle parenting, and there's like different categories. So please, can you highlight which one is the best for especially Pakistani parents to use when they have kids?
That's a really important question, and I'm glad you brought it up. Parenting today has become a lot more complex than it used to be, simply because parents are exposed to so many different philosophies. For instance, helicopter parenting, gentle parenting, attachment parenting, conscious parenting, and so on. And each of these models were born out of a culture need at a specific time. For example, helicopter parenting came from parents who were overly anxious about safety and performance, while gentle parenting emerged as a response to authoritarian homes where children weren't emotionally heard. But here's the key point: parenting has to adapt to the child's temperament, the family system, and the cultural context. For Pakistani parents, the real challenge and opportunity as well lies in finding balance. Our culture values respect and family unity, which are beautiful strengths, but discipline without connection creates fear, and love without structure creates confusion. The best approach is what I call emotionally intelligent parenting, a mix of warmth and guidance. Let children express their feeling and still lead with calm authority and clear values. It's also about modeling the behavior we want to see, apologizing when we are wrong, listening when they speak, and teaching through action, not commands. When parents shift from control to connection, conflict decrease, trust grows, and when the home becomes a safer place again. So instead of asking, "Am I gentle or strict?" ask, "Does my child feel safe with me?" If the answer is yes, you're already doing it right.
Thank you so much for saying that how we really need to be emotionally present and we should apologize. And that sort of a culture is something which is essential for a child to learn. But now, because we're trying to draw a line in between whether, cross-culture parenting can actually help us have, the bonds that we have enjoyed growing up. Now imagine growing up in a joint family system where chachu's there, mamu's there, probably any other guy from or any other elderly from the entire mohalla can come up and kind of
Say
be like,
anything,
पुत्र क्या कर रहे हो या चपेड़ भी मार देगा, ये इस तरह की
Yeah.
चीज़ें हमने फेस की हैं, ये पतंग मत उड़ाओ, what not. How do you think that,
Yeah.
because now, we are so influenced and unfortunately inspired by the West that we want to move on to our nuclear living, there's a new model out there, we do not welcome guests to our places. How do you think it will have its impact in days to come? Do you think that we will be living a nuclear sort of a family unit in days to come where nobody is welcome, your brothers and sisters and chachus and mamis and nanis and kakis and everyone, please?
That's a fascinating point because what we're witnessing today isn't just a lifestyle change, it's a social culture shift in how families connect and belong with each other. The traditional joint family system in Pakistan or in South Asia, despite its flaws, offer what I call emotional scaffolding. It's a shared network of caregivers that regulate stress, modeled empathy, and build resilience. A child didn't just have two caregivers beforehand, but a whole ecosystem shaping their identity and security. So as families become more nuclear, that collective support is fading away. So that means parents now juggle multiple roles today as a nurturer, mentor, provider, and so on, often without emotional backup. The result is often parental fatigue and relational thinning. So the modern family or modern life demands adaptation. The goal isn't to go back in time, but to integrate the spirit of communal care into contemporary life through shared rituals, um, intergenerational bonds, the international connection as well. So independence build strength, but interdependence sustain emotional health. Children need both roots and wings, the stability of connection and the freedom of autonomy. The future family model isn't just about joint or nuclear, it's adaptive kinship, modern homes grounded in tradition with where intimacy and collective well-being coexist.
Just one last question because we're running short on time. So one
I'm
last
sorry, yeah.
question. What do you think the parents in today's time, may it be the cross-culture parenting, may it be parenting from the same region, or may it be helicopter parenting or different styles of parenting, it can never be one size fit all. So what is your suggestions to parents these days, so that we could wrap it up? Please go ahead.
Thank you, and you're absolutely right. There is no one size fit all in parenting. Every family has its own rhythm and challenges. But whatever style you follow, traditional, gentle, or modern, make sure it's rooted in connection. Your child won't remember every rule, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Set boundaries, but listen. Correct when needed, but also apologize if it's needed. That's how real trust is built. Not through perfection, but presence. And don't raise your child to for the world you grew up in. Raise them for the one they're stepping into, a world that needs empathy and resilience and understanding more than ever. If we can nurture those three things, we're just not raising good children, we're raising good human beings.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you so much, Taj, for your wonderful contribution today in our program, and we will make sure that in days to come, if there's any such subject or topic, that we actually kind of make sure that you're on the show with us. So thank you so much. That we really need to listen to our children. We need to be there for them emotionally.
And I hope all the parents listen to this segment and they learn how to treat their kids right, and for the kids to be respectful to their
and
parents.
that she learns that that she listens to me too as well.